guys, this is Benji at CondemnCustoms.com. Today I'm featuring a video on how to take apart the Elite wireless controller. I am a few steps ahead here in this video, but anyhow, I'll get you caught up very easily here. Again, if you've watched my Xbox One disassembly, you'll understand how most of this goes. Okay, onto the back here. I went ahead and took all these off. These are pretty self-explanatory when you get them. This twist in. They just go in, so I mean that you're going to find out how do those work when you get it anyhow. The D-pad is made out of that aluminum as well, so it should be paintable, shouldn't be a problem. So again, I took out this screw here. I popped off both back pieces. These back pieces have rubber on them, but I went ahead and popped it off just like the old ones. So as far as painting, I mean, I could paint this top part, but this bottom part is not going to be paintable. Plus, I wouldn't want to ruin that. Honestly, the back of these controllers, besides the battery pack, I probably wouldn't mess with painting just because of the area. I mean, you got where everything's going here. It just seems pointless to paint it, in my opinion. You could paint this, but again, why not just leave the whole back side of this stock? But again, it's up to you. So took out 1, 2, 3, 4 screws and a fifth one here in the middle, just like the regular Xbox One. Pop this off. There's the shell. Somebody asked me if this is rubbery. It does feel a little rubbery. However, it is made out of plastic. So again, I might have to sand all the way through that rubber. I don't know yet. Haven't got into that. I mean, it does feel a little rubbery, but I don't think it's going to be a problem either way. Onto this, these are actually magnets. So that's kind of weird. But anyhow, I'm going to go ahead and take those off because I don't want those on there in the way. So they pop off kind of hard, kind of different. Don't know if I like the sticks or not. Again, I'll know more once I play with this controller. Unfortunately, I have not even turned this on. But anyhow, let's see here. I got the top shell off. Now, honestly, as a painter, that's probably all I'm going to do. So I really have no reason to tear into the rest of this. I mean, it is possible, but at the same time, if you're not going to paint it, I just don't see why. So, you know, you could take off the top piece. I'm sure it'll pop off just like the other ones. You could do it for a button change. However, I like these buttons personally. I don't know. It's all a personal preference. But again, you get into changing buttons and different things. You could easily change these out. No problem taking apart the rest. But to actually change out all the buttons means you would probably have to see the guts in here. I don't know that I'm willing to do that on this one yet. You know, I'm kind of looking in here and seeing what I got here. Heck, it might just pop off on me anyhow. But again, that's, you know, the basis of it is if you want to paint your top shell, it's easy to pop off. Go ahead and paint it, put it back on. What sucks about it, if you have a paint job from another one, you do have this groove here, so you can't use the shell you previously had unless you have somebody that could cut that out of there. But anyhow, that is the Elite controller. Hopefully this video helps somebody out there. I know for me, it's just a matter of seeing what the insides of it are, and I'm going to paint this top shell. You know, I don't even know if I have a use for an Xbox One Elite controller, to be honest, even though I have a few of them. I've had 3 of them pre-sold, so again, if you need one, hit me up. I'm sure I have a few more. So again, I will not sell it unless it's a paint job. I know a lot of people are out there making money on eBay. Congrats to them. But for me, it is strictly for painting. So again, thanks everyone for watching. Make sure to check out my other videos, how to disassemble the PS4 controller, how to disassemble and reassemble the Xbox One. That'll even take you further into the guts of this. Maybe if you want to chance it and go further in it, that would be totally up to you. But for me, that is good enough. So thanks everyone for watching. Have an amazing day.
Hey guys, it's Chris of Battle Beaver Customs. Today we're going to be installing these the Xbox One style replacement sticks. You can see they look a little different. These are extremely similar to OEM style. The thickness here on the inside is going to be same as stock. This actual outside part is the same as stock. And the only difference being this hole in the center is slightly smaller than the stock one. If you put them side by side, you can see this edge is slightly further out, which actually I think is a unique thing, because on here, when you go side to side, you can kind of feel your thumb catching that edge, and it's because there's that hard circle, that groove in there. Your thumb gets in it, kind of hurts. That's why I saw so many of the dome styles, which I still think is a better option overall. But these are for you guys that like the OEM style. The ridge here isn't near as rough on you, so it feels a lot softer. So I'll throw them in real quick. One thing we're going to note here, that these are Chinese parts. They come from factory in China where they kind of reverse engineer stuff, and they aren't exactly perfect. So you'll notice a lot of people wind up selling them. There's going to be a ton of people selling them on eBay, just like 360 and PS3. The only downside is nobody tells you how to make them work properly. And what I mean by that is a fitment. If you've ever bought a set of my domed sticks, you'll notice that they are really tight when you put them on the thumbstick module. Reason being is you don't want any slop here. So here you have your setup, and there's no slop between the thumbstick and the mechanism. Now there's a little bit of slop on the return to center, and a lot of people complain about that, but you can't have any slop on there. When you put on these replacement ones, you'll see if you just throw them on there, you can see that little bit of slop in there. That's moving before the mechanism goes anywhere, and you don't want that. You'll note if I take like one of my domed sticks, a little bit tougher to put on, and that's because the hole is cut to where there's zero slop on there. It's moving the thumbstick right off the bat. So what you want to do is to take a little piece of electrical tape. We're going to use a little bit of southern ingenuity here, guys. And I will probably wind up putting a little piece of electrical tape on. It can be outside of the packages when you guys buy them. Here's what you want to do. Just cut just a little strand. See, this is really small piece of it here, and you want to put it where it's going front to back. So there's these flat spots, we'll call those sides. You want it front to back. Just put it there in the middle, fold it down, and you'll notice that just goes a little ways down the stick. You don't want to cover it up enough to where you're going into the mechanism, anything crazy, just enough to shim them into place. Take your thumbstick, slide it on there, and what does that do? Eliminates all of your slop. So now you have a stiff thumbstick. The difference of it, I mean, fine engineering, we're talking less than a millimeter. I mean, this is probably, oh heck, whatever the thickness of electrical tape is. Do the same thing to the other side. And pop that on. It's always a little bit harder to do when I'm trying to do it under a camera, so I'm almost doing this through the camera. There we go. So that's on there. If you guys haven't seen one of my videos taking apart a controller and putting it back together, and just lifted the faceplate off, If for some reason this middle section comes out, when you go to put it back in, you'll see your 2 slots. This is the biggest thing people always mess up on. You have your 2 metal battery contacts. You have to make sure these will want to naturally go behind them. And if they go behind, your batteries won't work. So make sure those fit inside those slots. Pull your triggers down just a little bit to where they pop in place, and then make sure it's snug. Do that. Drop your faceplate on, and then put some screws in. For the sake of time, I'm only going to throw in a couple screws.